What if I told you that the reason you're stuck on that person is more brain chemistry than feelings, and there is actually a way to get around that? Let's talk about it. I have been doing a lot of research over the last couple years on the chemicals released in our brain when we relate to people because it controls more than we think it does. And here's what I find interesting, especially for women. When women are in intimate situations, relations, you know what I'm talking about, oxytocin is released in the brain. Oxytocin is what's released also when women are pregnant because it's a bonding chemical that makes you bond, right? So the idea is like if you're having someone's baby, you shouldn't run away from them forever. So oxytocin is released for you to bond to that person. But it's so when you're sleeping with people, there is a chemical thing in your brain that's saying, oh my God, I love you. I want to spend more time with you. Unfortunately, that's not released in the same quantities in men, and it doesn't do the same thing. What's released in them is dopamine, and dopamine is what happens when you have a really good experience, similar to what happens when you take drugs. I heard somebody describe this as a woman can sleep with someone and be like, oh my God, I want more of this person because it feels so amazing and I love you. And a man basically thinks, wow, that's like my favorite hamburger. It's so good every time. Right? But that's also how you get stuck after things end because that person was your source of oxytocin. So now you're oxytocin starved. You feel unloved or unbonded, right? And you feel like you have to run back to that person to get that feeling. Here's what I found out after coming out of a relationship that was 13 years long in which I was engaged. You would think, yes, you do get very stuck. But if you look for sources of oxytocin outside of that person, it helps you move on so much faster. Here's how you get more of that bonding goodness without that person. And I remember at one point my therapist told me, she was like, we have done a lot of work, but your homework now is to go home, because a lot of my family and friends are in Florida. She said, go home and hang out with your family and friends. That is your homework. We've done all the things, and now I want you to go home. Here's why she said that. I needed to rebuild my sources of oxytocin from being one person to all the other people in my life. So I started going to visit Florida like every 2 months. My mom even reached out and she was like, holidays, you have to come home. It's crucial for your healing because if you are alone, you're going to feel starved for oxytocin and go back to whoever was providing it. If you're here with us, you're going to feel loved, you're going to feel bonded. So that's exactly what I did. Also, things like joining fitness classes or groups, joining a prayer group, joining a women's circle, joining anything in which you can bond with other people and that oxytocin is released, because it's released when you're in relationship with other people, right? It makes it easier to get over the chemical addiction to that one person when you are able to bond with other people. So hit up your family, hit up your friends more. Go join a fitness class. Go join a class based on interest or activities that you like. Bond with other people so that you can wean yourself off of that one person.